and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon. Today we're going to try some limited Final Fantasy. So we're going to do the sealed event, Sealed Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy. So we're going to open our 6 packs, see what our rares are, and then look at our cards. So here we go. Alright. So Bruised Tar, Boorish Herder, mainly from the Final Fantasy Through the Ages bonus sheet. Mainly for Commander or Brawl, because of his partner ability, which means that he can be a commander as long as the other commander also has partner. Although giving a creature double strike and lifelink until end of turn when he enters or attacks isn't bad either. Summoner's Grimoire. So we'll have to hope we have a lot of the summon saga creatures. Jumbo Cactar could be good, although definitely want to be giving it trample. Mind you, giving it lifelink and double strike with Hubo Kupka, getting 10,000 life would be pretty good. It would make it almost impossible to lose. We are incentivized to play black with 3 black rares, the Darkness Crystal, discounting our black spells, Xenos as a partial board wipe, Cecil Dark Knight, powerful 1-drop, and then Furion to go with equipment, of which there is a lot in the set. Then we also have the Lunarial to play cards off the top of our library, and its crew cost is only 1, so that's pretty good. So let's take a look at our pool. And let's see here. Alright, so white. Do have to bear in mind that the job select equipment come attached to creatures, so we really have 7 creatures, but that's not a lot. Dwarven Castle Guard is fine. We've got 2 copies of Aerith Rescue Mission, which can either get blockers out of the way or create 3 hero tokens. And then the Crystals Chosen as a top end. So we do have some go wide synergy. We also have 2 copies of Orin's Inspiration. And then Slash of Light, which goes well with going wide and equipment. Then Graha. And then Fate of the Suncrest, a bit expensive, but at 5 mana does deal with any non-land permanent. No bombs in white, though, is the only thing. So I think we have some decent white cards. Graha wants us to be in a sacrifice deck, so we'll have to see what our black cards are like. Blue. Laboratory Maniac. If we had some self-mill, lots of self-mill, this might actually be a viable win condition. Scorpion Sentinel wants us to ramp, get extra lands into play. We do have Ice Magic and Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum for interaction. Side quest card collection helps enable itself, so does Rook Turret, although we don't have many artifacts in blue. I guess we do have 4 with Rook Turret, although it doesn't trigger off itself, so 3 other artifacts. So Scorpion Sentinel likely to be in play before Rook Turret, and then Lunar Whale and the Prima Vista. Now, the problem is Prima Vista, we only have 1 other blue card that triggers its ability. So blue, again, could be a support color, and we could always splash the Lunar Whale. So Conrad the Grim, probably better in Eldraine Limited, which is, of course, where he's originally from, because he was great in the blue-black mill archetype. But we do have Armin as a sacrifice outlet, and then Reno and Rude can also sacrifice creatures. Xenos, not a good fit in a go-wide sacrifice archetype, since you don't want to be killing all your small creatures. But that's exactly what would happen with Xenos getting into play. Not sure about Xenos' Burning Chains ability if you transform him into Shinryu, Transcendent Rival. That might be better for playing Commander with multiple players, because of course, obviously, on Arena where it's 1 versus 1, if the opponent loses the game, you automatically win the game. So that ability does not seem to be relevant in 1 versus 1. We've got Fight On for Graveyard Recursion. Not a lot of removal other than Xenos and 1 Vane's Treachery, which also wants to be in a sacrifice deck because of its kicker ability. And we don't have a lot of creatures, especially 2-drops. And Poison the Water is more of a sideboard card. So while we do have some powerful rares, the Final Days, not looking good with our black. So it will, if we go with black, it will depend on what our secondary color is. We haven't seen a lot of creatures so far. Let's take a look at red. Alright, so red could go well with black. We've got a lot of creatures. Didn't see a lot to go with Blazing Bomb. Let's just take a look here. I guess with Blazing Bomb, having 6 4-mana spells plus Call of the Mountain Chocobo has flashback, as to Sorceress Schemes. Although there's not anything that exciting with Sorceress Schemes. Don't have a lot of wizards to go with Circle of Power. I do have Samurai's Katana and Warrior's Sword to go with Freya. So red could be good. Let's take a look at green. I think we'll have to take a look and see at our enchantment creatures. We've got Ifrit and Esperama in red. Nothing in black. Nothing in blue. Nothing in white. So Summoner's Grimoire, I would have to play red for that to be good. It does let you cheat other creatures into play, and I do have some big green creatures that I wouldn't mind cheating into play, but it doesn't buff the stats of the creature it's attached to. So you're basically chump attacking with the hero token with Summoner's Grimoire unless you attach it to another creature. Priestess Wanderings, 2 copies, that could be useful. We've got Chocobo Kick for interaction, Blitzball Shot. That would pair very well with Jumbo Cactar. Airship Crash, Bard's Bow. It's decent up front since you're getting a 3/3 with Reach when it enters play, but the equip cost is just so prohibitive. Gallus Final Act, kind of something you want to play on a creature that's going to die either from removal or trade. Does let you trade up with a boost to power. Cactar, I don't think it's that great. Sure, it's a 3/3 for 1 mana, but having to return it to your hand every other turn is a bit annoying. So green, I'm not sure about green, but playing green would make it easier to splash with the 2 copies of the Wanderings. Roadmap, that could be useful to help splash. Elixir could be useful. Lionheart is removal that fits into any deck. Iron Giant, mediocre top end, but still fine. Magic Pot, I think if this were 2 mana, it would be playable in a sacrifice deck. Because I wouldn't mind sacrificing it to either, say, a Reno and Brood or an Ahriman. Poo Poo UFO. I don't know how much card draw we had where we would be getting extra lands, so its tap ability might not be that relevant. And then we'll have to see how many towns we have. And then only the 2 multicolored cards in white-red. Alright, and then let's see our land situation. So I've got a black-white town, a blue-black town, and a green-black town, and then green-blue. So if we go black, we have the most options. Alright, so not too sure. To maximize the number of rares, I think we do want to play black. And maybe black green? Well, we'll take a look at that. Okay. So I think I like black. Golbez, aka Sir Conrad, also good in a sacrifice shell, because he triggers if our creatures die. So I could consider black-white. Not a lot of actual creatures to go with the final days, so I don't think that makes the cut. And then, do I try and squeeze in green? I don't think so. And with all my token production, I'm not sure if Xenos is in. Final days definitely doesn't make the cut. I think with the crystals chosen, Orin's Inspiration, maybe one copy. Don't think we want Poison the Waters. Could keep Circle of Power for card draw. Although I do have Graha, which triggers off my creatures dying. Armin can sacrifice creatures and artifacts to draw cards. Reno and Rude can play cards off the opponent's library. So maybe we don't need Circle of Power, because we don't really have any wizard synergy. Could keep Xeno since I need to ramp into something with the Darkness Crystal. Vincent's Limit Break isn't good with tokens, although we want to be aggressive with cards like Cecil, Reno and Rude, Ash. How many artifacts do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 40 cards. By the time Ash attacks, we'll have about 30 cards left in library. So if we haven't drawn any of our artifacts, we attack with Ash. I think that means that we have a 1 in 6 chance of finding an artifact off Ash, which isn't great. But on the other hand, I don't think I can cut Ash, because we also need creatures. I mean, I do have 2 Paladin's arms, so I think we'll keep Ash. And then 2 more cuts. I guess Aerith Rescue Mission with tapping creatures down also helps get the final attack in, along with something like Crystal Chosen, so maybe we don't need Orin's Inspiration. And then maybe it's Vincent's Limit Break. Alright, so I think this will be it. Like Cecil, our deck art. Alright, so I think this is the deck. So we've got some Graveyard Recursion with Fight On, which is good if we cycle Marlborough. Cycling Marlborough triggers Golbez Sir Conrad for what it's worth, although usually we're cycling Marlborough early. Because if Sir Conrad's in play, then we'll be close to casting Marlborough anyway. Darkness Crystal, not a lot of expensive black spells to discount, but getting the opponent's creatures back with its ability seems pretty good. And I've got 1, 2, 3 removal spells and Xenos, who admittedly doesn't play well with the decks go wide with tokens game plan. So we could use some more removal, but we didn't see a lot of removal. I think the only other color where we had a lot of removal was blue with the 3 copies of Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum, but that doesn't go with the Darkness Crystal. So I think we'll go with this and hope that we trade off with a lot of opponent's creatures while the Darkness Crystal is in play with all of our tokens. Alright, so this is what we'll try. So we'll get into some gameplay and see how we do. On the play, not having a swamp for Cecil is kind of unfortunate. I don't know if I want to mulligan. I've got Malboro to find a swamp, although I won't be able to, that means I won't get Cecil down until turn 3, although he's pretty good at any point. And then Phaidon can get back Malboro. And I don't really want to go down to 6 on the play, so I think we'll try it. Alright, we draw some removal. Opponent leads with Swamp, doesn't have a play, plays Island. Doesn't have a turn 2 play. So even though we're off to a slow start, at least so is opponent. Alright, we draw Plains. Swamp would have been better, because that would allow us to play Darkness Crystal on 4. But at least this means we have Aerith Rescue Mission. And Phaidon only have the one creature in graveyard, so don't want to cast that, even though that would be the most efficient. So I think it's Cecil. The opponent could be holding up Syncopate. So the nice thing about playing Cecil right now is that I can pay for it. Syncopate would also be annoying because it exiles. So I do suspect opponents got Syncopate. They could have just been holding up Dreams of Laguna, but I wonder. Opponent doesn't surveil any cards into the graveyard. Alright. So I should take this opportunity to resolve a spell. Let's get Darkness Crystal down. Which should be hard for opponent to interact with. Buster Sword. They've only got one blue mana up, so I can destroy that with Fate of the Sun Crest. So I think that's what we do here. Alright, opponent plays UFO. Alright. I had to stop recording for a second there because I had to cough. Opponent taps out. They played Combat Tutorial. We'll get back Cecil and Marlborough. Play Cecil. And I've got land 6 for Marlborough, although I only needed 5 land. And then with my Aerith rescue missions, I wouldn't mind drawing like an Hourman or something like that. And then opponent doesn't have any towns. Ultima. Opponent takes it. We'll cast Marlborough. Opponent had Cryptic Command, so nice that we exiled that. Ice Magic. Opponent's got their own Marlborough. You know, Slash of Light. No, not the worst. So Slash of Light would have been good now. But Evein's Treachery would be fine. Oh. Well, we're just dead here. Well, that's too bad. Better luck next time. On we go. On the draw. I think this is keepable. I will say my unlucky start to this sealed event seems to be par for the course. I haven't had much luck in some sealed events I did off camera either. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, Dragoon's Lance. That's a nice draw. Opponent also black-white. Leads with Dwarven Castle Guard. And then I think I'm willing to trade my hero token for the dwarf. Because on my turn, I'm going to play Paladin's Arms and make a 3/3 that can block their hero token. I don't know if I want to block here, because I can always Fate Ash for 3. Although, I think if they had a trick, they probably would have attacked with the token, so I think we take the trade. Alright, Marlborough. I've already got 4 lands, and I've got land 5, so I don't think we want to cycle Marlborough. Then I think we basically hold up Fate of the Suncrist, I guess for the trader. Unless they play something else that I'd rather kill. Although, I'd have to wait until next turn. So maybe we do just kill the trader here. Opponent's got a Cloudbound Moogle. We'll wait to see if they sacrifice something. They sacrifice the treasure. That's good. And then we'll wait until they finish surveilling before we destroy the trader with Fate of the Suncrist here. They don't surveil anything into the graveyard. Alright, there's land 6. We'll cast Resentful Revelation here. I kind of want Slash of Light, but on the other hand, it would be good to play something I can actually cast. So I think we'll take White Mage's Staff. And that blocks opponent's hero token, and then importantly gains life when I attack, so I can help make up for the Moogle. Mughal attacks. Alright, Grahatia. But I think our play is Malboro. Opponent chumps. I'm surprised they don't trade, but I guess maybe they've got equipment that they want to discount with weapons vendor. The opponent takes it instead. We'll play Malboro. Wow, I'm lucky. Opponent discards Vincent Valentine. They must have some way of returning him from the graveyard. They had 2 copies of Vincent Valentine. And then Grahatia does have reach, so they can block the Mughal. That's fine. Alright, so I think, depending on what opponent draws, we're in pretty good shape here. Then I wouldn't mind either a land for Crystal's Chosen. Could also flashback Resentful Revelation. Wouldn't mind waiting to play the Crystal's Chosen until after I've played Aerith Rescue Mission. Alright. Down at the Capuchin, that's pretty good. Alright, so now opponent's chumping with the Moogle, so they're on a turn 2 clock. Looks like opponents got removal for Grahatia. No blocks. Opponent's still on a turn 2 turn clock. And next turn we can basically attack past Xanatha Capuchin, even though it can favorably block one of my 2/2s. Summon Chocomog is fine. No blocks. Maybe we look for Resentful Revelation so we can Vane's Treachery something. Let's see, if we just attack... We could also move some equipment around. But if we attack as is... Let's see, opponent chumps, trades, blocks and gains 2, so it goes up to 11. Blocks. So I don't think it's a good idea to... Don't mind trading. Alright. Alright, opponent's dead to my flying hero token. No blocks. On combat on your turn. Alright, so opponent can sacrifice a creature and trade with Phantom Train, or block something, but they're still dead. Alright, finally. Let's hope we keep this up. On we go. On the play, we've got 2-drop into 3-drop with Vane's Treachery as early removal, plus we've got the hero token, and I don't mind sacrificing Dwarven Castle Guard to kick Vane's Treachery. Could use some good late game draws, but this is good to start with, so we'll keep. We'll get our tap land out of the way too, that's nice. Another Paladin's Arms. I think I'll still play Ash first. Because attacking with her, I've got 2 artifacts in hand, so less likely to hit an artifact with Ash. But I think I like the possibility of hitting an artifact rather than basically a vanilla 3-2. And then opponent played Crossroads Village on blues. They've got double blue. Opponent's blue-white plays Aerith Gainsborough. It's not very efficient to get rid of Aerith with Vane's Treachery, although I'll have to kick it if opponent hits with Aerith, so I think I do just get rid of her now with Vane's Treachery. Even though it's not the most efficient. And we hit White Mage's Staff, that's pretty lucky. Which we'll be able to play, which we can play now. There we go. I was about to say we could play it next turn alongside of Paladin's Arms, but I forgot I still had 2 untapped mana. Alright, Rook Turret. Okay, land is a little annoying. Opponent Esper. White Mage's Staff equips for 3. So that would be my only play if I equip it. That's all I can do. I think I'd rather attack with Ash, play Paladin's Arms, and then next turn I can equip the White Mage's Staff, move it somewhere, and play the other Paladin's Arms. And we hit Dragoon's Lance. Wow, we've been really lucky with Ash. Opponent takes it, they fall to 10. So that means we can play Paladin's Arms and Dragoon's Lance. And that's enough for opponent. Wow, okay. Well, we definitely got lucky with Ash that game, hitting twice. I hardly expected to hit at all because we had 2 artifacts in our opening hand. Or I think we had 1 and then we drew 1. Anyway, either way, I didn't expect to hit anything and we hit off Ash both times, so she was great for us. On we go. On the draw, if one of these was a plains, I would keep this, but I have to mulligan. At least since we're on the draw, we get the extra draw step. Alright. I don't have an early creature, which is a bit annoying, but I've got Vane's Treachery and Resentful Revelation as early plays, so I think we'll keep this. And then what to bottom? Could be land, since I've got Resentful Revelation to help me find land, and then I can also cycle Malboro for a land. It could be greedy to bottom land, but with Malboro and Resentful Revelation, I think we can get away with it. Alright, there's Goldvez. Opponent leads with plains, doesn't have a turn 1 play. Opponent black-white has Adalbert Steiner. White Mage's Staff is nice. I could just kill Adalbert with Vane's Treachery. I think I like that. And we'll do it while opponent's tapped out, rather than play White Mage's Staff, because then they can hit me if they remove my hero token. Alright, Monk's Fist. Alright, would have preferred a land, but at least it's another 2-drop. Opponent also misses land drop. I think I'll play Dwarven Castle Guard because I don't mind trading that off. Opponent hits land 3. Alright, and I think I don't mind if they've got some kind of trick here. Opponent makes the trade. We get our hero token. Heck dies. I think I'll discard Resentful Revelation because I can flash it back. Alright, and then unfortunately, I think we have to cycle Malboro now, even though it would be more efficient to play White Mage's Staff. Because I really need to hit my land drop. So definitely getting a little punished for bottoming the land there. And then my hero token is a bit more valuable. I think we'll keep it back because they might equip the Monk's Fist and be able to attack for 2 damage with the Heck Dice. Whereas we're only getting in for 1 with our hero token. Opponent hits land 4, hopefully we do as well. And again, I don't mind if they've got a trick. We trade, that's fine. Alright. Missing our land drop's definitely a pain. But at least we're able to be mana efficient. Looks like opponents got removal for Ash. I don't mind that. They had to use a 4-mana removal spell. And I've still got my much more key 5-drops in hand. Alright, so our only play is White Mage's Staff. Opponent's got Fight On. That's annoying. Alright. Who to discard? If I draw land, Xenos wipes the board. Well, except for one opposing creature. Although I'm kind of wanting to discard Xenos. Earth Rescue Mission would have preferred land, but at least this is a spell I can cast. And then I think we want to make 3 1/1s here. And I'm not going to attack. Wouldn't mind drawing my own Fight On. Alright, I will block. Don't mind if opponent has a trick here. That's fine. Land is good. Alright, and then Grahatia can currently block Adalbert without trading, so I think we play Graha here. And then I could attack. I think we'll attack with 2 of our heroes. And then happy if opponent blocks, they don't. Alright, so a fight on would be a great draw. Alright, summon Anima. Pretty good because it draws them 3 cards. And then we don't have attacks. And they gain that extra life from that attack with Adalbert there. At least its Oblivion mode is not that impressive because I've got all these tokens I can sacrifice. Opponent attacks with Adalbert. Reconsiders. Attacks with Anima. So they could have another pump spell. I think we'll take it for now. Wouldn't mind drawing my Dragoon's Lance. And then I think we flash back Resentful Revelation. And I think we take Fate of the Suncrest here. Do I want to attack? I don't think I do. And this is 3 to equip, so I would need to draw another land in order to be able to equip White Mage's Staff and play Fate of the Suncrest on an untapped non-land permanent. Again, I think we take it. Alright. Ahriman, you say? Alright, I would need... One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. So I need one more land to equip White Mage's Staff, hold up Fate of the Suncrest to destroy a untapped non-land permanent. I think Golbez can attack here. Don't mind trading, even if it means they gain the life. And then we'll play Armin, hold up Faint of the Suncrest. Alright, Dragoon's Lance, that's a nice draw. So Graha has been helping me make up for opponent's card draw from Summon Anima. Opponents got their own Resentful Revelation. Opponent bottoms Magitech Infantry, Gaius von Balzar. Gaius von Balzar actually would have been fine, because they could have, say, sacrificed a Castle Guard, and I would have had to have sacrificed Armin or Graha. Ash is fine. So what would be a good draw here? Crystal's Chosen? Another Aerith Rescue Mission? Alright, we do have our work cut out for us, because opponent gained a lot of life. And I might have to destroy the airship with my Fate of the Suncrest, because opponent can use it. They could... Actually, come to think of it, I don't know why they didn't block. That would have been a pretty good trade for them. Okay, do I destroy the airship or not? This is my last removal spell unless I get back Xenos with a fight on. But my life total is such that opponent having an evasive attacker is kind of a problem. And then I think I destroy it before they attack with it. And get to draw and discard. That's a suspicious attack. Oh no! That was unlucky. I guess I should have waited and held it up to kill the creature, but I didn't expect Vincent's limit break. Oh well, I guess that was the wrong play. Well, hopefully we'll do better next time. On the draw, which is a bit too bad, but I think we've got a keepable hand. I'm not sure about cycling Marlborough. Alright, Resentful Revelation, that gives us a turn to play. Opponent's got a White Mage's Staff, that's pretty nice. Alright, fight on. So now cycling Marlborough doesn't seem that bad. And maybe that's not such a bad idea, so I hit my land drop. So that way I don't have to bin the other two cards with Resentful Revelation if I look for a land with that. So I think that's what we'll do. Too bad I don't have an early blocker for the White Mage's Staff. Opponent white-blue. Plays Planisphere. Alright, we draw another land. And then Ash or Paladin's Arms. I don't mind trading Ash on blocks because I've got Fight on. Opponent's got White Orzhov, that's too bad. I could destroy that with Fate of the Sun first, although maybe the Planisphere is a bigger problem. Opponent also gets to add an extra mana. They've got their own Ash. I think we'll trade. Alright, and then I can play Xenos, choose Scorpion Sentinel. Opponent equips Planisphere. They've got 3 mana. I'm not having kill removal is a bit annoying for my fight on. Alright, let's Revelation here. Kind of like Aerith Rescue Mission, and then put Goldblaz / Sir Conrad in the graveyard for fight on. And then I could cast Aerith Rescue Mission, although that lets them attack with the Sentinel and possibly give it another +1/+1 counter, so I think we'll just destroy it with the Fate of the Suncrist here. I could also destroy the Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum. Probably better just to destroy the creature. Sadly, it would have been much better for me if it was Xenos Exiles and then returns transformed. Alright, that's fine. Okay, so what do we want to do here? I think play Dragoon's Lance. And then Aerith Rescue Mission. Alright, opponents stand to 1 card. Now, I mean, so are we. But that 1 card is fight on. And then just in case opponents got a... I realize I'm trading my 3 tokens, but in case they have a pump spell, I want to be able to actually trade. Alright, Cecil. Alright. And then I can equip Paladin's Arms and cast Fight On. Opponent's got the mana to cast Aerith Rescue Mission. So that was pretty nice. Opponent had to discard Retrieve the Esper, which, to be honest, isn't that bad for them. And then I think we hold off on attacks. And then opponent can sacrifice Blitzball. Vane's Treachery. And then I don't want to attack. Now they do have to hit me with a legendary creature to sacrifice Blitzball and draw cards. Alright. I think let's sacrifice Graha Tia to destroy the robot warrior. Not quite able to play Conrad and equip Dragoon's Lance at the same time. Alright, opponent hits land. I've got 18 cards in hand to opponent's 26, so we're not milling them out with Sir Conrad. So I don't think I'm going to mill. Harriman, that's useful. Alright, opponent hits land. And then I think I'll attack with Armin this turn so that we can get opponent down to 10. So that means we can then leave Armin back and just attack with Cecil. And then we'll flashback Resentful Revelation. Let's get Paladin's Arms, although I guess I could have got the White Mage's Staff and played it. But this just provides a bigger blocker. Opponent hits land again. The opponent's been pretty unlucky. They are attacking. Alright, they can only trade with one of my creatures. Crystals chosen. I guess I could have put a +1/+1 counter on Cecil first. I think I like... The opponent can go back up to 7 if they attack. Their draws have been pretty unlucky recently. And unfortunately, opponent might be gaining life, but they're just going to lose it again off Sir Conrad triggers here. So the chump attacks didn't help at all. Alright, fight on. Not bad, not bad. Anyway, let's close this out. So opponent definitely had some pretty poor luck there at the end. They flooded out And then their draws were particularly useful. On we go. On the draw, I've got Cecil on 1, Maid of the Suncrest, could be good on 3 if opponent's aggressive. Darkness Crystal, we've got double black, I think this is a keepable hand. Wouldn't mind drawing Vane's Treachery. You draw land 4 for Crystal, opponent leads with Mountain, doesn't have a turn 1 play. There's no removal for 3 toughness creatures in red at 1 mana. Looks like opponent's got... Oh, and it's exiled too, that's unfortunate. Because now I can't get him back with my fight on. Grahatia. Looks like opponent's got removal for Ash. They probably should have waited until their turn to do that, because then they would have attacked for 3 instead of just for 1. I can destroy the token, but if I'm going to destroy anything, I'd rather it be the rapier. The Darkness Crystal resolves, although opponent's got something they can do. And Rude, which if one of these planes were a swamp, we could play it alongside Golbez. Let's play Graha here. That also resolves. Again, I think opponent should have main phased that. Although I guess it makes sense for them to have flashed it in since they had the Lunar Rail to get the extra damage in with Red Mage's Rapier this time. Alright, let's hope opponent's finally out of removal. Opponent hits land off Lunar Whale. Alright. So let's destroy Lunar Whale here. Oh, it's only a tapped creature. So Sir Conrad hits pretty hard, so I don't think we trade with Reno and Rude, because we could possibly use Reno and Rude's ability, sacrifice Grahatia. Although taking 6 doesn't seem like that great an idea. Yeah, I think I do have to trade here, unfortunately. Red Mage's Rapier is also not that expensive to equip. Alright, Aerith Rescue Mission is useful. That creates a bunch of token blockers. And then, what do I want to draw here? With Resentful Revelation. Not sure. I think it's Araman, because I don't want to destroy all the tokens I literally just made if I get Xenos. And then because of the discount from the Darkness Crystal, I can play Araman here. And then I think with 4 creatures back on blocks, that means I can attack with Golbez. Alright, no attacks. Opponent chumps with Rook Turret. Gain life because of Darkness Crystal. Edgar draws 1 card, so that's not bad. And opponent concedes. Alright. So after a flurry of initial aggression by opponent, we stabilized with our going wide with Aerith Rescue Mission. Okay, on we go. On the play, no swamps, but my only black spell is Sir Conrad. So I've got some time to draw swamps, and I've got a Swamp Cycler. My other 3 cards are white, and I can play both Lance and Castle Guard, so I think we keep this. Dragoon's Lance is a great turn 2 play, especially on the play. We'll be able to follow it up with the Paladin's Arms. Opponent Mardu. Draw another black 5-drop. Alright, so wouldn't mind either land or Malboro. Opponent doesn't attack with the rats. Plays Garland. Draw another land, although it is a plains. I could equip Paladin's Arms to my flying token, but then opponent can attack me in the air, on the ground. So I think even though that would be more efficient, I think it's attack with my flying token, play Castle Guard. So I've got a 2-powered blocker. And then wouldn't mind drawing land for Graha, preferably a swamp. Alright, I don't think I want to give the opponent a treasure, so we'll take 2. Opponent's got another Dire Rat. White Mage's Staff. Again, I think even though it's not the most efficient, we'll play White Mage's Staff. Alright, opponent attacks with 1 rat. Again, I think we take it. We're still winning this race. Draw a land for Graha. Haven't drawn a single swamp, which is unfortunate. And then I could equip an equipment to my flying token, but I think it's attack for 2, play Graha here. Oh, it looks like opponent's got removal. It could be Fate of the Suncrest and destroy Dragoon's Lance. Alright, so I guess I should have played Graha main phase. Alright, opponent's got 5 mana. Fixing them for, say, double red could be bad. But I think I do want to make this trade so I can start drawing cards off Graha. Draw another Plains. So Kind of looking like I should have mulliganed to find a swamp, because now I have got 3 uncastable black spells and 6 lands. I guess I should have waited to play land until after I maybe draw a card off Graha, because I might draw a swamp here, or worse yet, tap land. Yeah, I should have played Graha first main phase, because then I would have drawn a card off them destroying my Dragoon's Lance. It might have even destroyed Graha. Yeah, if opponent takes it, then we'll move White Mage's Staff to this token, so I've got another 2/2 blocker. Alright, do I want to block the rat here? I don't think I do. Opponent keeps whatever is on top with Garland. Draw another black spell. Do I attack with Graha or just the two powered creatures? I think if opponent had a trick, they would have attacked with both Garland and the Dire Rat. Oh, looks like they might have a trick after all. Alright, so that was a bit unfortunate, but I think still fine. If I draw a black source, I can get Graha back with Fight On. And thanks to my mage's staff, my life total is still pretty good. Alright, an opponent uses their Phoenix down on Undercity Dire Rat, so that's pretty good. No blocks. Having a swamp to have had Vane's Treachery up for opponent's combat trick would have been useful. Another Paladin's Arms. At least I've got something to cast now. Uh-oh, looks like opponent's got another trick. No, they do not. Alright, opponent uses Fight On, that's fine. I think they would have been better off getting Garland back as Chaos the Endless. Alright, hopefully we can draw a black spell here. I think we can afford to take 2 right now. There's Swamp. And then do I attack? I don't think so. We'll wait until I can play Graha and hold up Vane's Treachery. Alright, so that was good. We can take 3 for now. So wouldn't mind getting my own crystals chosen. Alright, and then do I tap out for Castle Guard or hold up Vane's Treachery? I think we hold up Vane's Treachery. Alright, so good draws would be my own copy of Crystals Chosen. sacrifice their treasure. But this is still a problem. Well, unfortunately, I think... Oh, the opponent couldn't pay for ward. Alright, so opponent can bring Garland back as chaos here. And then our turn, we can play Sir Conrad, Dwarven Castle Guard. And that's what they do. There's our copy of the crystals chosen. I could play Dwarven Castle Guard, but I think it would be better to equip White Mage's Staff to Xenos. This way they're forced to block. And it also means I don't die in 2 attacks to Chaos. Alright, that was unfortunate. Alright, so unfortunately we're dead to Chaos. Alright. Alright, Aerith rescue mission. That was lucky. Alright, well, like they say, better lucky than good. On we go. On the draw, 3 lands, both colors. I've got a turn 2 play, so I've got a blocker for opponents to drop if they have one. And then my pick of Armin or Paladin's Arms on 3. So I think this is keepable. Alright, and then we even draw a tap land on 1. Opponent also leads with tap land, so they are green-white. Abzan colors. We draw some removal. Opponent doesn't have a 2-drop. Alright, and then I think we play Araman. We could also hold up Fate of the Suncrest. Not sure what's better here. Araman might dissuade attack, but they could have removal for it. Probably better to get on the board, so I think I will play Araman here. Now, Darkness Crystal does kind of not work perfectly with Sir Conrad because it exiles the opponent's creatures, at least their non-token creatures, so Sir Conrad doesn't trigger off them dying. Alright, opponent taps out for Saz Catsroy. Finds a land. Alright. Alright, that's unfortunate. Got by the sideboard card, although Airship Crash, because it has cycling, is at least main deckable. Alright, and then in a bit of a pickle here, because on the one hand, Rufus can attack past Sir Conrad, but on the other, Saz Castroy just keeps putting +1/+1 counters on things. Uh-oh. Alright, I think that's it for us now. Opponent just gained 2 life, and they can attack unopposed. Yep. Well, that's too bad. Our draws just didn't line up, and opponent had the perfect draw. So, that was unfortunate. Anyway, so that'll do it, because that's our third loss, but we went 5-3, which is respectable. The sealed event is a bit tough in that unless you've got sealed tokens, you're only getting your gems back if you get to 6 wins. I think if the rewards were slightly better, I think sealed would be more interesting. Anyway, whatever. So we got to 5. Let's take a quick look at the deck. Now, unfortunately, by the time I'm able to release this video, the Final Fantasy sealed event will have left Arena. But this should give you some idea, at least, of our deck. I think was pretty close to the black-white archetype and what it's trying to do. Maybe if in a draft archetype we would have had a bit more sacrifice synergy, and probably might not have had quite as many rares in draft as we did because of our sealed pool. Although you never know. So basically, the goal of black-white, as I see it, is to get on the board with a bunch of cheap creatures, make lots of tokens with spells like Aerith Rescue Mission, which, because of its modal ability, proved to be very useful for us a number of times, and then win games with spells like the Crystal's Chosen, and get card advantage off cards like Graha and Ahriman. Ahriman also being a common, which is quite nice, makes it great for the black-white sacrifice archetype. Anyway, that'll do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching. Do please like and subscribe. If you thought I should have made any different plays, let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see some more limited content, also let me know, although I'm certainly planning on recording some. And have a good one. Thanks again. Bye.